So apparently the microphone didn't work properly and I didn't connect it up properly, so that's a bit shit. So I'm sorry for the terrible audio for this episode of Raw. Bye.
Hello and welcome to episode 134, I do believe, of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. This is going to be Monday Night Raw for week 2 of May 2021, and today we find out the final male and female competitors in the Money in the Bank ladder matches from the Raw side, along with many other things as the build towards the dual-branded Money in the Bank pay-per-view continues. Without any further ado, let's just jump straight into the show.
Too long. The lies and excuses have conquered. It's just a time bomb waiting to go off. So tell me why has it gone to this? We live just like we're dead. Afraid of something, afraid of someone. It's time to rise from the ashes. Rise, it's a new day.
Edge and Christian come out to open the show, and they're here to talk about the Undisputed Era because they attacked them on their Raw debut. Would have been over a month ago now, and they made their return last week. And them alongside New Day, even the numbers how scared them off. And it's just Edge talking about how him when he came back, he didn't know he had a whole bucket list of things he wanted to do. One of those things was to become tag team champions. That he thought it was going to be with Rated RKO because Randy Orton was his best friend that he still had around in this company. But then Randy Orton attacked him the night after he came back. But it was at that point when Christian came back, and now maybe it's time for him and Christian to get one more tag title run. And we nearly did. We would have the tag titles right now if it wasn't for the Undisputed Era coming in and costing us that match. The we come out again and they say, "Oh, Edge, quieten down." What we did was we did you a favor because we are the greatest tag team here on Raw, and quite frankly, if we would have won those tag team championships, it would have ended badly for you because we would have just taken them straight off you. So we actually did you a favor by not letting you embarrass yourself, and we'll be taking those tag team titles now because we are next in line. I'm sure we've put Raw on notice after just a month around here. And yeah, we are the greatest tag team on Raw, and you are a thing of the past, so you need to head on out of my ring. Then New Day come out. We're like, whoa, are we talking about who's going to be the next tag team champions when the tag team champions, the 10-time tag team champions, are stood right here? So what you're saying is you want a shot at the tag titles, Edge and Christian, and we respect you to hell. That's why we gave you the title shot on the Raw after WrestleMania. But you don't just get given the title shot, you have to earn it, like Adam's saying. And also, Adam, you have to earn your shot. You and your Undisputed Era boys have to earn your shot. But now's not the time for that because you've made a lot of enemies on your short time here on Raw, and you're looking at 4 of them. There's 4 of you. So how about in the main event tonight, we do the Undisputed Era as a unit, taking on Edge, Christian, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods. And Cole's like, no, let's not do that. Then Eve comes out and she's like, you know what, I like that idea, Kofi, let's do it. Main event, 8-man tag. And then come back from an advert break and Apollo's in the ring. He's talking about how last week he earned the spot by beating Jeff Hardy to get into Money in the Bank, and that he's going to win that briefcase and do his home country of Nigeria proud and become Mr. Money in the Bank, and then cash that in and become the World Heavyweight Champion. Then only Lorcan comes out and he says, I don't care about you or your country's pride. I need to win that world title to prove to the world that I still can kick ass, and I can kick ass as the world champion. Throw him up. And the 2 men who are qualified for Money in the Bank, they have a one-on-one match. Apollo versus only Lorcan. Gets a fucking 77, and it goes 11 minutes. Apollo gets an 84, only Lorcan gets an 83. What the fuck is in the water here in the SNHU arena, and why are these lads smashing it so much? Apollo does beat Oney with a spin-out powerbomb. getting his momentum for Money in the Bank. I went over the ratings a minute ago, 84, 83, very fucking good. And yeah, 77 is a very good opener for Raw between these two Money in the Bank participants. We then cut backstage to Keithley and Damien Priest, the two friends, just having a chit chat after their match last week. And Priest again, he puts over, you know, last week I thought I had you, but you are a great world champion, you're a great competitor. It was an honor to face you, champion versus champion. Keith's like, oh, same to you, brother, but hey, what's all this crap I keep hearing the Miz talking about you? And Priest's like, I don't really concern myself with what the Miz has to say. Miz is just jealous of me because I'm the Intercontinental Champion. And he's been the Intercontinental Champion before. He was a great Intercontinental Champion, but it's now time for him to step aside, and the next generation of Intercontinental Champions is here. And then Tyler Breeze walks in the frame. He says, I hate to interrupt a little friendly reunion chat here, but I'm so not sure if you're aware. Hi, you know me, I'm Tyler Breeze. We were in NXT together. I am now the hired detective prince of Monday Night Raw, and I'm also assistant to Eve Torres, who is busy making the main event match tonight. But I have to inform you that you're both going to be a part of handicap matches tonight. And then Keith's like, what the fuck? Why? And Bree says, Keith, you're going to be going 1-on-2 against Everrise. And Keith's like, oh yeah, figures, Kevin Owens' boys. And Damien Priest, you're going 2-on-1 with Elias and Robert Stone. And Priest's like, okay, why am I going 2-on-1 with them? And he says, oh no, it's just a request. That match is up next, by the way, Damien, so you might want to scooey on down to the ring. But first, R-Truth, he has his 24/7 title, he's walking down the hallway when Bo Dallas goes up to him and he says, hey, Truth, you are a 56-time 24/7 champion here in WWE. That is the most title reigns anyone's had with any single championship in the history of WWE. You are like the most winningest champion in WWE history. So your value as a competitor here on this brand, it's going through the roof. You could say it's going to the moon, and that's when boom, Cameron Grimes comes in after he rolls our truth up 1, 2, 3. Cameron Grimes wins the 24/7 title. He goes, yeah, Cameron Grimes. Imagine how much my stock's going to rise with this title. I'm going to the moon. And let's go celebrate with big money limousines or whatever. So showing Cameron Grimes, it's a fun segment, get him on the show. We then get back to the interview with Charlie Caruso. She's with Asuka, and she says, last week, Asuka, you managed to qualify for Money in the Bank. You've been off Raw for about a month, but you're back, now you'll win Money in the Bank. What are your thoughts? And she's talking about how she's going to win it. Now, 2020 wasn't a great year for Asuka, but 2021 is going to be the year of Asuka, and now nobody in that Money in the Bank match is going to be ready for Asuka. But then, cheering and just shouting from a group of young Japanese women cuts her off, and then JFL walk in the frame. And Maki takes the mug and she's like, yeah, welcome back, Asuka. I'm going to win Money in the Bank too. And these two just sort of ham it up. Maki and Asuka, that is, the two win Money in the Bank, where they're going to team up there on tonight against the Ladyscots, Kaylee Ray and Nikki Cross. Sort of showing these two in the same segment together advances that story. 70 for the handicap match, which is actually fine for a match with Robert Stone in it. Damien Priest, of course, beats both of the Robert Stone A-list boys in the handicap match. Elias actually eats the pin with the hit the lights, apparently. 82 for Damien Priest, 60 for Robert Stone, 70 for Elias. But then we find out why this match was made, because the Miz, of course, and the rest of the A-list, Morrison and the women, get to the ring. Miz and Morrison jump Damien Priest. Miz hits the Skull Crushing finale, and he grabs a microphone and he says, Damien, you don't get it. I'm not saying this just to try and be an asshole like you think I am. You are the Intercontinental Champion. You will have all the perks that come with being Intercontinental Champion. Last week, you showed disrespect to this championship. A championship that I worked my ass off to make relevant again after so many years. That's why I'm considered one of the greatest Intercontinental Champions of all time. This belt, to a certain generation of the WWE Universe, this is my title. And I quite fancy taking it back from disrespectful punks like you who aren't treating it with the respect it deserves. So you need to batten down the hatches, because I'm coming for this title, and when I win it, I will become the joint record holder of this belt 9 times. Watch your back, Chris Jericho, because the Miz is coming, and when he wins it, it's gonna be awesome. No zombies anywhere in sight. Purge vignette, not vignette, just a little backstage where we get a recap of Alexa last week. And then Alexa stood there in the spooky Purge room with Dexter and Dane behind her. When Alistair walks up to her, sort of puts his hand on her shoulder and he says, "You know why we brought you in, right?" And she's like, "Yes, Alistair, I do." And he says, "It's time to purge. And you know who we're starting with." Then they all turn to the camera, and then Alexa says something like, "Let the purge begin," and then the sirens blare, and the camera cuts off. The Purge have their first target. Is it Bray Wyatt, like they teased last week? Maybe. Who knows? But they're after somebody. 80? Mackie and Asuka showed excellent chemistry teaming together. My god, I have just stumbled across greatness. But the Ladyscots do get the win. Kay Ray pins Mackie with the reverse code red. 72 for Mackie, 88 for Asuka, 65 for Nikki Cross, and a 61 for Kaylee Ray. So I couldn't beat the Ladyscots. They just turned heel last week. They obviously still have the women's tag titles on their mind, despite the fact that Paige and AJ are going to be busy because there's a non-championship match on SmackDown this week between the Mean Girls and the Ninja Warriors. After the Ladyscots have their eyes on whoever wins that match the week after. Drew McIntyre backstage with Ricochet, ahead of Ricochet's match with Cedric Alexander. And he says, "Ricochet, you know, I have to thank you because as somebody who prides himself on being the best here on Raw and being the franchise player, I very much was not willing to ask for help against the Hurt Business because I thought I could handle them because, well, I know I'm great and, well, that's just my way of life is if Drew McIntyre can't do it alone, he'll die trying, but it's nice to know I do have somebody who's got your back, and you've got Cedric tonight, and, you know, Lashley, Madden, and Shelton and MVP are going to be by their side. So if you need any help tonight, I've got your back, bro. That's when Sheamus walks in, and he talks to he like points to Drew McIntyre. He's like, "See, this is why I was doing it, fella." He's like, "For weeks, I've been watching you, my best friend, get attacked by these people, and I wanted to help you, I really did, but now I've heard you talk about how you don't want help. So it makes me know I was doing the right thing. So I'll carry on doing my own thing while you carry on doing your own thing, fella, but just don't think that I don't respect you and you're not still my friend." Then Otis walks in the frame and he says, "Oh yeah, Shamey, there we go." And Sheamus is like, "Oh my god, go away. I don't want you here, you're not my friend. Drew McIntyre is my friend." And then I was like, "You know, if you also need help against the Hurt Business, I'm your guy, mate." There's some baby faces chilling out. Then get a backstage segment. Angel Garza is backstage with a rose. He's waiting outside Raquel's locker room, and he's waiting to give her the rose because Eddie in China. And then Mandy Rose was like, "Oh my god, you shouldn't have bought this rose for me. I know my name is Rose, but I never asked for this, Angel. Thank you so much." She hugs him, and he's like, "Oh no, it's not for you." And he sort of warns her, like, "Hey, you might want to get off me." Then Raquel comes out of the locker room and sees Mandy hugging her man, and that's going to get settled in the ring up next. 39, Raquel beats Mandy in 4 minutes with a big boot. 53 for Raquel, 45 for Mandy. Just a nice match to get Raquel a nice win on the show, I guess. Not really much else. Fun little angle. Mandy, I think I need to sort of turn heel in terms of my roster disposition, which will become more apparent later on, trust me. I've got a lot of baby faces, and she'll literally just be a nothing baby face, so probably more room for her on the heel side, so that was sort of a way to sort of plant the seeds to do that. After the match, Raquel and Mandy fight, and yeah, Raquel just takes Mandy out again, and Mandy looking visibly angry on the outside to sort of cement that she may be a bit of a bad bitch now. 82 rated segment, just the bigger Mafia backstage talking about how what's next for them after they seem to be just a group without a direction right now. But that's all going to change because if there's nothing for them, they can make their own path to walk down. And then Bronson Reed, he walks in the frame. He's like, "Hey, I'm in a similar situation to you two, kind of really. I don't really know. I'm not in Money in the Bank. So if any of you want to fight, I'm available next week. What do you say, Baker?" And then Andrade's like, "You're on." So next week it'll be Andrade and Bronson Reed in a one-on-one match. 79 for Ricochet versus Cedric. They've come a long way since they first broke up, and they got like a 60-odd match. Ricochet gets a 90 and a 78 for Cedric Alexander. Ricochet defeated Cedric with the 630. Did I not put any interferences in this? Apparently not. Well, of course it would be Drew McIntyre coming to ringside and taking out MVP and then running through the crowd as Lashley tries to get him or whatever. And then that distracts Cedric, so Ricochet wins. Thanks to Drew. After the match, the Hurt Business get in there and they beat up Ricochet. And then Drew McIntyre makes the save, like Ricochet did last week, but they're still overwhelmed. Otis comes out to make the save like he said he would just a minute ago. They're still overwhelmed. And then finally, Sheamus' music hits. He's finally decided to step in, and he also makes the save. He gives a bro kick to Dio Maddin. The odds are now evened, and the Hurt Business retreat as we have an army of 4 babyfaces united against the mean group. Eve calls Kyrie and Io into her office. She says, "Look, Io, you won at Backlash, and we've got the Money in the Bank coming up, and that's sort of been the main focus of my mind. We've got the Women's Money in the Bank. Rhea and Tony going one-on-one later on to decide the last point in that, so I'm still working on trying to find a challenger for you, so don't stress, it is still something on my agenda. Just hold tight, you're not going to be left off the show." And then that's when Charlotte walks in. She's like, "Eve, I told you last week, you do not need to look for a number one contender because you have the number one contender right here. Because I did not lose at Backlash. Liv Morgan lost, so I deserve a one-on-one shot at Io Shirai." And then he's like, I understand you're making a fair point, and I will take that into consideration, Charlotte, but you can't just demand a title shot." Then Io sort of like hushes Eve up. She's like, "No, Eve, I got this. If Charlotte wants a one-on-one title shot, she can see me at Money in the Bank. And then we'll see who the queen really is. Woo." And then she leaves. And Charlotte's like, "Did she just mock me, woo?" And then he's like, "Yeah, I think she did, yeah." So Io will defend against Charlotte one-on-one at Money in the Bank. 76 for this random little match. Buddy Murphy has sort of been doing nothing since Backlash. I know it was only 1 week, but he wasn't on the show last week. So just going to give him a nice win over James Storm. Murphy's Law. 91 for Buddy Murphy and a 58 for James Storm. That's the only purpose of this match, is to remind the people that Buddy Murphy is one of our top guys on the show now. Just give him a nice win. Ever-Rise are backstage, advertising the Ever-Rise show or whatever, and hyping themselves up for this handicap match, saying, "Hey, if we pin Keith in this match, does that make us number one contender?" And they're like, "Hey, no, I think it might do." That's when Kevin Owens sort of walks in, and they sort of stop being silly and immediately start being serious. Like, "Okay, right, here's the game plan. Hey, Kev, we've got our strategy to beat Keith Lee. What have you got to say?" Owens doesn't say anything. He just looks at his two best friends, and he's like, "Just get it done." They don't. Funnily enough, Keith Lee does defeat Ever-Rise in the handicap match in 4 minutes. Chase Parker gets spirit bombed, apparently. An 89 for the world champion Keith Lee, a 46 for Matt Martell, and a 53 for Chase Parker. But then after the match, Kevin Owens gets into the ring. He delivers another star to Keith Lee. And just like The Miz earlier on after his handicap match, he goes on the microphone too and he says, "Keith, everyone's been asking why I laid you out last week. Is it not obvious? I've always been a prize fighter. I've been here for 6 years. You know what I'm all about now. I'm a prize fighter, and that is a prize that I never got the chance to get my hands on. That is a prize I wanted my hands on since I first started watching wrestling. And at Money in the Bank, I'm coming to get my hands on that big gold belt. Thanks for keeping it warm, Keith, because the prize fighter has come out of the shell. It's time to claim the most valuable prize here on Raw." So, very simple. motivation for Kevin Owens. Heel Owens is fun in that regard, in that he can just attack people for no reason because he's the prize fighter, and like it is simple. Like he just wants the belt. That is his motivation. That is the whole motivation behind the Kevin Owens character, is to get the belt. And even when he was a heel, it was to help out his family. More so, I was also as a babyface, but now he's a heel as well. He can stay. It was still always about him, the family, and being the prize fighter, so he can get big prizes and the big money. So yeah, he's just a nice, simple world title challenger to book, and we're going to do that at Money in the Bank. Keithley and Kevin Owens. 64. Shit. The finish is weird. Tony Storm defeats Rhea Ripley in 12-13 when Rhea Ripley was carried out after fighting Lacey Evans. I know. But like I said earlier on, I've booked myself into a corner here. Because I wanted to do Rhea and Tony again, but I didn't want to put Rhea in Money in the Bank. Because she would just win it, and she's not who I want to win it. So I need an out to get her out of this match. I didn't want Tony to pin her, because I don't want to pin Rhea yet. So I needed a heel to sort of come in and fight her and get her out of ringside. It didn't want it to be Charlotte because she's busy with the world title stuff. It couldn't be Tony. I didn't want it to be Alexa. I didn't want it to be any of the tag teams, so it couldn't be the Scots or the Iconics. And then I think there was one other person that I didn't want it to be. And then the next one down was Lacey Evans. So I guess she's the one who has to step in and do it. And she apparently tore Rhea's stomach muscle, which I hope the fuck isn't long term, because that would really fuck up a lot of my plans. 59 for Tony Storm and a 78 for Rhea Ripley. After the match, Rhea, with her torn stomach muscle, tries to get back into the ring. Lacey sort of pulls brass knuckles out of her handbag or whatever, clocks Rhea, that's why she got counted out, and then Lacey sort of mocks Rhea on the floor. Rhea gets up and Lacey runs away and Tony just sort of celebrates. The heels have got one over on the Nightmare here today. Cameron Grimes, he's outside, he's going, come on, Bo, you got my money, let's go, we're going to go cash this belt in, we're going to get rid of this title, and we're going to increase our funds and take our stocks even further to the moon. Tries to get in the limo, door's locked. Like, Bo, someone locked the door. Someone locked the door of my limo. And then the door unlocks. He's like, we're in. And then, of course, the door opens. R-Truth leaps out of the back seat. 1, 2, 3. He wins his baby back. For the 58th or 9th, I believe, time. I've lost track now. Raw Talk is then hyped up. R-Truth will be with Charlie on that. And she'll be joined by Lacey Evans and Drew McIntyre. 88 for his main event. This is the new best match in the save. Thank God for No Style. There's a lot of words on my screen right now. And I believe it is actually the right finish. So the UE defeat the team of Edge, Christian, Xavier Woods, and Kofi Kingston. The Adam Cole pinning Xavier Woods because of shenanigans. No, not really shenanigans, just sort of miscommunication between Edge and Christian and the New Day, allowing Adam Cole to get the pin over one of the tag team champions for his team. 75 for Woods, 80 for Kingston, 94 for Edge, 69 for Christian, 71 for Roderick Strong, 60 for Bobby Fish, 78 for Kyle O'Reilly, and 81 for Adam Cole, baby. So that surely puts Undisputed Era in line for a tag team title shot soon. But Edge and Christian, they aren't happy because they lost this match. They feel like New Day lost this match for them. And then they look at the tag team titles too, and they gesture they're also after the gold. Where could this be going? Have to wait and find out. Lacey on Raw Talk is explaining her actions. Why did she cost Rhea Ripley? Basically, Lacey's been here. She's a veteran on Raw, and she's not going to sit back and get overlooked because flavors of the month just keep coming in and getting put straight to the top while someone like her has been putting in the work for years. So Rhea needed that taste of reality like a little nasty, and she got it tonight. J-Flow, just J-Flowing up, saying Mackie's going to win Money in the Bank, and how, breaking news, Mackie's been working on a new J-Flow track, but like she'll be the main singer and there'll be backing singers because it could be the song that she can come out to when she's a singles wrestler, and that'll debut at Money in the Bank. Drew, 85. He's talking about how the Hurt Business, they may have outsmarted him for now, but he finally has an even playing field. He's got 3 people on his side. There may be 5 of the Hurt Business, but MVP, he's not really getting in the ring much these days. So, as far as Drew's concerned, honours are even. And it'll be an interesting week next week when Drew McIntyre's got everyone on his side and the Hurt Business have got their side. Be interesting indeed. Watch your back because the army's coming and it will spell disaster for the Hurt Business. Not at Sacrifice, but on Raw. I just accidentally skipped past the end screen, so you're going to find out what it is live with me, I guess. I feel like I say it here. Whatever we're about to see the rating as, which I think is going to be really good because it was an 88 rated main event. That's not important, but that's more what you thought of the show. So just let me know what you thought in the comments below. And we can also get a live check on Rhea's status as well when we go through this screen. It's actually nice in that regard because I forgot to mention it. So the show got fantastic reviews. Where the fuck is it? WWE Raw. 87. Yeah, what matters more than the 87 is what you thought of the show again. So do let me know what you thought in the comments below, and I'll see you next time for SmackDown. Rhea Ripley is out for 27 days. That's fine. That's actually really fine, to be fair. Thank fuck. Crisis averted. See you next time. Bye-bye.